forest here. This is kind of a weird little woods. I'm at my mother-in-law's place, and she lives in the Whispering Pines. It's one of these communities that's like next to a golf course. It's kind of a cool woods here. I haven't figured out what the hell, to me this all looks like it was planted. Big, beautiful trees in here. But I have finished a book. A Voyage Long and Strange. Rediscovering the New World. And this is one of those books that I keep swearing I'll never read again. It is, this covers everything from the Vikings, land in Newfoundland, to Plymouth Rock. And it's written by a guy, his name is Tony Horowitz. And, typically I don't like it when historians mix humor with fact, but this wasn't too bad. I sort of enjoyed it. I don't have too many notes here, so I'm going to try and get into it. It's really hard to find a place in the woods to set your camera, so I'm kind of crouched over doing this. This was published in 2008, 390 pages, begins with the Vikings in Newfoundland. There is not a whole hell of a lot of evidence for them, but there is archaeological evidence. There is also evidence in written accounts, which are weird because they're not written by the Vikings. They're written later on by mostly by Christian missionaries. Then I jump right to Columbus's second voyage. Columbus was, I don't know, he was kind of incompetent, actually. Let's see, page 69. We had some just gorgeous weather. This is the first cool weather I've had in 2 months. This is talking about, kidnapping some Indians, and some guy that's with Columbus has taken a fancy to an Indian woman, and I hate to say Indian. These are indigenous Americans is what they are. They call them Indians because they thought they were in India. She being naked, according to their custom, I conceived a desire to take pleasure. Cuneo wrote, I wanted to put my desire into execution, but she did not want it and treated me with her fingernails in such a manner that I wished I had never begun. But Cuneo persisted. I took a rope and thrashed her well, for which she raised such unheard-of screams that you would not have believed your ears. Eventually his victim succumbed. The first recorded sex between a European and American was rape. And then my next note is the requiremento. And the requiremento, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, was something that the Spanish would read aloud every time they met up with a group of Indians. And what it said was, in a nutshell, what it said was, you will pay homage to us, and you will accept our religion, or we will kill you. And they, obviously, the Indians didn't understand a word they were saying, but the Spanish thought that they kind of washed their hands of all guilt because they read this aloud before they proceeded to steal all the Indians' food, whatever gold they had, and just for kicks, set some dogs on them to rip them apart. It goes after that to I didn't write down the guy's name, but it's a Spanish guy that takes this big trip into the American Southwest. And there is a group of Indians called the Zuni, and the Zuni live in Pueblo-type villages. And the Zuni, kind of uniquely among indigenous Americans, they resisted the Spanish pretty well. They actually still live in their original homeland, which is pretty cool. Uh, the the word saga, like in a Viking saga, actually translates into says, like Leif Erikson says. Uh, the book jumps all around. My next note is Joyce Kilmer. It talks about a Joyce Kilmer Memorial Forest, which, if I remember correctly, is in North Carolina. They have gigantic tulip trees there. I have planted a tulip tree in my backyard at Melvindale, and that thing is just growing straight. That thing's got to be 30 feet tall right now. It's getting big, and it's a beautiful tree. There's a place by my house called Snow Woods, and that's where I got that baby tulip from. But that's not the reason that I wrote that down. You know, we're all familiar with Joyce Kilmer's poem, A Tree. I think that I shall never see, blah, blah, blah. I always thought Joyce Kilmer was a woman because of the name Joyce. That's a woman's name. But no, Joyce Kilmer is a man. And I found that out in this book because they say he died in combat in the First World War. Bottom of 377 to the top of 378. I'm almost done here. What in the fuck? Is this fucking taping or not? Yes, it is. Sorry, I couldn't see it. Bottom of 377. This just talks about Plymouth Rock. The first of the Mayflower passengers to step ashore at Plymouth were scouts who arrived in a small boat. When the Mayflower followed, the ship anchored a mile out in the shallow bay, and the English were shuttled ashore. In any event, the Pilgrims never mentioned the rock, or any coastal rock, in their copious writing about Plymouth. Rather, the story of the hallowed stepping stone derived from oral testimony recorded many generations later in the manner of an Icelandic saga. So the whole idea of Plymouth Rock is American mythology. I've never been to Plymouth, but apparently there is a rock there that people try to throw pennies on for good luck. But if you think about it, a wooden boat, even a wooden launch that is bringing small numbers of people ashore, they try to avoid rocky areas. They're going to look for a beach where they can haul that launch up, everybody can get out, and then that launch will go back to the ship. That's all I got. I am reading another book right now, and the other book is a little bit unusual reading for me. I'm taking a break. Thanks for watching.